Oops, sorry, that wasn't my fault. Uh, then whose fault? Yeah. Hello there. I greet you all with the love of our Lord Jesus Christ. Actually, I started my presentation today with a different twist. Intentionally, I did what I did, and intentionally, I said it's not my fault, because this is a comment and this is a concept that we use every day in our life. A lot of times we say, that wasn't my fault, it was his fault, it was her fault, and we start blaming others for some mistakes that we apply in our life, and we try to find somehow a way that we can justify ourselves. Sometimes we try to self-protect ourselves and we blame others. So today we're gonna explore together, during our presentation, give up blaming, take up admitting. Everyone blames some other people whenever they have a project and that project doesn't succeed. When sometimes we place an order from a shop and we call the shop and we ask them, my order isn't delivered yet, and they say, oh, sorry, because we had some cases in our employees and they had COVID, and they start blaming other people for the fault that they have done. Sometimes in our life we experience some situations when we actually do something wrong and we try to justify ourselves and blame others and say, whoever is not there, for example, we say, oh, it's his fault because he brought the thing very late and that's why I'm late. Sorry that I didn't make at the right time whatever you asked me. It's really interesting topic because we blame all the time. We see on the television some people blame each other. We see in our life different kind of people that they blame others for whatever they have done. And it's very obvious that all this we do because we don't want to take responsibility in our life. So today I'd like to actually invite you during this short presentation to give up blaming and take up admitting. Admitting is very important. When we admit, we accept. When we admit, we acknowledge what we have done as a wrongdoing. We acknowledge what we did mistake, and we acknowledge that I did that mistake instead of blaming someone else and with no reason. We try to criticize people, we try to find errors in someone's life, and we justify ourselves. But it is important as a Christian to remind ourselves that we have to admit first of all our wrongdoings, our faults, our errors, and then blame others in our life. When I was thinking about this topic, I remembered the book of John, where Jesus was teaching to the people. Some Pharisees came to him in the book of John, we read chapter 8. They brought women and they said, this woman, we caught him when she's in act of adultery, and in the law is written that we have to stone her. And Jesus, as you know the story, he started writing with his finger something on the ground and then said the following words in verse 8, actually 7. But Jesus bent down and started to write on the ground with his finger. When they kept on questioning him, he straightened up and said to them, let any one of you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone. If we admit that we are sinners, if we admit that we do also faults and errors in our life, then we will give up blaming in our life. If we admit that we are sinners, we will stop blaming anyone else that this sin has been applied because of someone else, or this action I did because it's the reaction of what they have done to me. And we try to blame all the time. But when we accept and acknowledge and admit that we also are sinners, we also are wrongdoers, then we will stop blaming and we will begin actually acknowledging and admitting that we also are wrongdoers and sinners. So let's this week, while we do something wrong, don't blame others and don't blame anyone, because we did whatever we did. When I shake the phone, that's why I did wrong, and it was like, moving everything, and I said, oh, it wasn't my fault, but it was my fault. So I invite you all to give up blaming and take up admitting.